at this leadership event. We're going to ask you to take all of the training that you're going to hear in just a few minutes from some of our very successful, highly successful coaches. We're going to ask you to think about that calendar that we put in front of you just a minute. We're going to have you think about how can we implement a systematic approach to bring our new coaches on board. And then, if you're like me, people ask you to do that, and then they say, that's your homework, and I never do the homework. So, we're going to have a little homework session here tomorrow.
Yeah, so tomorrow what we're going to do, at the end of coming back from lunch, we're going to have a round table session. So, in essence, what's going to happen, you're going to move from lunch, you're going to move into another room. We're going to have about 60, 70 tables. They'll be grouped by basically rank for years in the business, and we know there'll be a little bit of fuzzy and that kind of thing. That's okay. But the intent in each one of those tables is you will be provided with a quarter, okay, with a calendar and with some pieces that, all of this stuff on it that you'll have, but also some of the other things that you need to be considering in that quarter that could get in the way, that could help you as you execute during that quarter to leverage your business. And so for about an hour tomorrow, you'll have an opportunity to sit, to brainstorm, and to actually do your homework on this sheet, and then we'll do some best practice sharing, and then what we'll do is we'll actually gather all of them and we'll distribute those on the round table so that everybody has this year-long calendar of best practices, and you can use that as a template as you go back to your organization to get this thing going. So the idea is we give you the entire calendar, we give you some of the best thinking of this group, and then you can go back and execute and get the water going down the road.
All right. Well, we know that you guys made an investment to be here. We want you to get the most out of this conference that you can. So let's just keep going, Jeff. We got great content. You kick it up.
Okay. With that, we're going to invite a superstar diamond coach to kick us off on this, Ashley Locklin. Give her a big hand of applause.
I am so excited to be here to talk to you about leveraging the company business plan. But before we get into it, I have 3 things I want to address. Number 1, I'm never nervous public speaking because I started my professional career as a high school English teacher when I was really overweight and I had braces. So I always tell people if I could get up in front of a room of high school students, 17-year-olds, and teach Shakespeare all day, I could talk to any crowd. But today, I am legit freaking out because this is a whole new ball game. Also, I did not slip on my fitness plan. I went on a Success Club trip. It was a success. This is a true Beachbody baby. Thank you. So now I'm really out of breath and self-conscious. And then number 3 is when they asked me to speak on this topic, I said, I will, but I don't really know what that means. And they said, just share your marketing plan, what you do, how you get your team on board. So I said, okay, I can do that. So it's not the sexiest topic, but it has some good stuff for you. So first is I capitalize on every single new launch, and I learned this the hard way a few years ago when Country Heat came out. I said, I hate country music, I hate line dancing, I'm not doing that. But the queen herself, Melanie, was doing it, and I was watching her talk about her 2 left feet and how much fun she was having. And then I watched her do a training call, and she said that you have to do every new launch. This is your business, and that program might not be for you, but it might be for your neighbor next door. And so I decided to do it, and I recruited so many people who I would otherwise not recruit. So from there on, I said I will do every new launch, and I translate that to my team. So how I get ready for new launches is I spend a whole day familiarizing myself with that new program. I go through the back office, I read everything I can, I get videos, and I put everything into a blog post with all the details, linked videos, why it's good for me and my specific audience, and then I include all the challenge pack prices. And I started doing this at the end of last year when my success partner, Holly, and I were talking about how our market is busy. They don't want to spend time messaging back and forth with us. They just want the information so that they can read it while they're up in the middle of the night nursing their kids. So we started giving them all the information up front, and we had tremendous success with that. So now when people say, hey, I'm interested in Live 4, I give them all the prices, all the information up front. I also create a Google folder with everything that I can find on that program. I go into the roundtable, I take all the coach transformation photos from the test group, I go on Google, I go in the back office, I download all the videos that are there, and I put everything in one place for my own sanity, and then I give that to my team so that they can never say, I didn't have time to look this up, that they're not asking me questions, they have everything. With that blog post, I give that to my team, and I tell my new coaches, copy this, paste it into a Google Doc, tweak it a little bit so that it's yours, and then send that to people when they ask for info, because that's more professional than sending a million messages that are all over the place. And then I tell them, once you're a little more seasoned, I want you to spend a weekend creating a blog, and every one of these Google Docs needs to be copied into a blog post, because then you're going to get search engine optimization, and you're going to get people who are going to find you online, and then you have this really professional presence where you're sending them your blog post instead of just a Google Doc or just a message with a bunch of information. And I can't tell you how many applications I still get for 80-day obsession, even though I haven't talked about 80-day obsession in months, just because it's out there on the internet. And then lastly, I send a newsletter to my entire contact list. I learned this last year. A business mentor said, Ashley, the people who have bought from you are very likely to buy from you again, so you need to stay in contact with them. And you need to be collecting emails. So on my coach ads, I'm always asking for emails, even though it's a pain. But I send newsletters out frequently, and every time there's a new launch, and I always get new challengers and returning challengers and sales from those newsletters. So if you're not doing that, I highly recommend doing it. So I then go into my team page. I do a live video and I say, listen, you are doing this new program. I don't care if you want to do it or not, but you're doing it, and here's why. And I explained the story with Melanie, how I missed the boat, but then I jumped on board. But I explained the timeliness. Beachbody is spending so much money advertising this program. Why would we not take advantage of that? If we want business-like results, then we have to act like a business, and we need to capitalize on what's being done for us. Second is other coaches are promoting this program. And I can't tell you how many times I've procrastinated, and I got a message from someone saying, hey, I see all these other coaches talking about this program. Are you able to offer it too? Because we can brand ourselves in this unique way, the general public thinks that some coaches get access and some don't. So I tell my team, if you do not talk about this program, other people are going to join other coaches. So you have to be on the ball. So once they're all on board, they all sign up, I do a coach-only test group so that they get their own transformation, their own story. They have that excitement of being a challenger, of doing it together, and that really creates momentum and excitement and success. And I'm going to talk about my transformation and how I use that in just a moment, so just keep that in mind. And then I run a ton of challenge groups. So I do this primarily for my new coaches because I want them to be inviting from day one and always having something to add challengers to. I know that as a new coach, I was like, well, I'm not going to invite because my challenge group doesn't start for 3 weeks. So then what am I going to do? So I, when a new program launches, run a new challenge group every single week. So there's always that urgency. If my new group is starting, follow-ups. Hey, you want to join? My new group is starting. And so my new coaches, no matter when they join, they always have a new group to be adding people to. So I always have a ton of groups going. I use my challenge tracker because I love it for this reason. My veteran coaches, I tell them run your own group, and I'll make you an admin in mine, and that way you have access to my content and you can just hit copy and schedule. So you have your own group. I create all of my own challenge group content. I do not use the challenge group guides, not that there's anything wrong with them, but I want to customize and tailor that content for my audience, my coaches, my market, who are very much like me. So we are very fit-ish. We do not like to exercise. We like to eat. We are just a bunch of girls who don't want muffin tops, but we want to eat muffin tops. And our main goal in life is to be able to button our pants without having to lay down. So I make sure that my challenge group content is exactly what they need. So my veteran coaches, they don't have to recreate that. They have access to it, but in their own groups. Okay, so we talk a lot about marketing all morning. I'm going to keep this theme going because this is how I prime my coaches and my audience. This is kind of like the preseason. I'm always looking as far ahead as I can to what I can be preparing for. So when they announced 80 Day Session, I told my coaches, if you haven't done an autumn program, you need to do an autumn program so that you have a transformation and a story for her. Even though I tell them to never use her name, no offense Autumn, to never use the program title, to never say Beachbody. We're all about creating that curiosity. So for example, when they announced Transform 20 in June, I immediately told my team, everyone, you're doing Lift 4 right now, but as soon as you're done, if you haven't done a Shaun T program, that's what you need to be doing. Because you need a very clear transformation and story with this trainer. So you saw my transformation photo. That was right after I had my daughter. I started T25 at 4 weeks postpartum. And my story is that I peed myself every single day. I cried every single day from my thighs slapping together. That pain is insane. And I followed Tanya so closely that I had dreams about her. And I thought we were real life friends. And I've never talked to her in real life because I'm too afraid, but she's my girl. And I lost 60 pounds by doing that in 25 minutes a day at home with an infant. And now this trainer has a brand new program that's 5 minutes shorter, and it's going to be perfect. And so that's how I'm marketing it. So I'm telling my team, if you don't have a story like that and a transformation, it's going to be really hard to sell this program. So I'm always looking as far ahead as I can to prepare, and this is my preseason for December and January. So now we're going to go smaller to monthly, and there are a few things I want to point out in here that Sandy wanted me to share. So Coach Sneak Peeks, I do one a month now, and I'm going to talk about that shortly, why I do that. The Veteran Challenge Group you see starting there. I do a seasonal group that runs for 3 or 4 months, and that's for returning challengers. So once they finish that first initial challenge group, I roll them into another one, and that's how I get them to do the older programs. So my clients who just finished Lift 4, I put them into this fall fit club, and most of them are doing 80 Day Obsession and bought the 80 Day Obsession packages and materials. And that's not a program-specific group. Again, the content is general, it's going to motivate them, but it's going to last the length that they need it to last. I start a new challenge group every other week, unless it's a month that a new launch is happening, and then I start one every single week. And again, that's just so my new coaches always have something to add to. And then getting started right calls, I do those for my tear down line, usually 1 a week. So again, as new coaches enroll, they get some face time with me and the leaders on the team within a week. Okay, weekly marketing plan. So this is how we stay in a constant state of recruitment. This is what I do and what I teach my team to do from day one. On Sundays, I think about pre-Beachbody Ashley, when I would spend the weekend binge eating and be so bloated and say, tomorrow I'm going to start my health and fitness journey, but I had no plan. So I hit people in my stories or on a post with a great transformation so that people say, oh my gosh, she did this. I'm going to join her because she clearly knows what she's doing. On Monday, I always hit people with a coaching post, no matter what, because I used to wake up, I used to have to go to work with my pants unbuttoned because I was so bloated and I was so miserable. So I talk about how this keeps me in shape, and I'm so excited. Tuesday is always a transformation photo. Wednesday is usually a workout video. Thursday and Friday are always coaching posts. And then I have my team match their private invites to these public posts. Because when somebody gets an invite, the first thing they do is they check your page. And if they don't see you posting about coaching, they're not going to want to be a coach. So I tell my team, please don't tell me, I just haven't been posting about coaching enough, or I haven't been posting about challenger stuff. I'm like, well, follow the marketing calendar. And when they say, oh, it feels forced, I'm like, yeah, it's going to feel forced. It feels forced for me, but as our Tina Marie always says, posting is your paycheck. And so every Monday morning when I don't feel like making a coaching post, I make it anyway. And I tell my team that I don't wake up inspired to talk about this, but I do it anyway. And that is what drives success. And lastly, how I recruit new coaches. So I had the honor of going to Brendan Burchard's High Performance Academy live in March. My upline brought me as my elite gift. And it was amazing. But the one thing that really stood out to me was something I learned in a bonus session. You stayed in the hotel, you got to go to this special event at nighttime, and Brendan and his business partner spoke on business. And they said, you need to identify your prime metric. What is the one thing that is going to drive your business and give you residual income and success and money? And you need to track that, you need to pay attention to that, and that's where your focus needs to go. So we're in our coach thread with the other coaches that were there, and some girls are saying, oh, is it the number of invites we're sending? Is it the number of posts that we're making? And Shay Sanford said, no, it is absolutely not those things. It is recruiting quality coaches. We need to focus on getting loyal coaches who produce volume. So I came home from that, and I realized, okay, I need to focus on this. So instead of doing weekly sneak peek groups, which I was doing last year, which worked. I swear Big Mo and the compound effect came into play, and I recruited a lot of coaches every week last year. But this year, after that event, I said, okay, why am I doing weekly sneak peeks? Because, oh, I need these people to see that I'm live, to watch the video, and they need notifications. And I was like, is that really what I want? Do I want coaches who need notifications that I'm live? Or do I want a coach who's going to join, watch a video I recorded 2 weeks ago, and say, hey, I'm ready to sign up? Because those are my best coaches. The ones who join my sneak peek group, watch all the videos, and an hour later say, sign me up, I'm ready. So I started to focus on getting quality coaches. And that has changed everything. That also freed up a lot of my time from doing all those sneak peek groups. And then I started to focus more attention on the coaches I had already recruited, and that's how we got to be a superstar team this week. I just shifted my focus. Or this year, we became superstar. Okay, so we stay in that constant state of recruitment. We stay in that constant state of recruitment. So all month long, and all week long, 3 times a week, me and my team are recruiting to coaching, and 3 times a week we're recruiting to challenge groups. So we're consistently recruiting to both. But we use these new launches to really drive that recruitment. So during 80 Day Obsession, I've said, I was in my sneak peek group saying, you have no idea, you're going to be at the forefront of something huge, you're going to get to do something before anyone else does it, and you're going to be leading the pack. Said the same thing with Live 4, and I see boosts in enrollments, coach enrollments, when those new launches come out. So I really use that as a selling point. Everything that I say to my team, I say in the sneak peek group as to why you need to join right now. And then those coaches have a lot of success when they join and they do a specific program that's new and they're excited about. They get to be in that special coach group and all that good stuff. So that is how I use all of the Beachbody launches to drive my success and my team's success. And I almost had a nervous breakdown when 2B Mindset and Live 4 were launched at the same time. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I realized, okay, I can either sit here and whine and complain about it, or I can boss up and promote both in a very strategic way and help more people. And that's exactly what I did and my team did. So I hope this helps. And my word is transformative, because I feel like anybody who's exposed to Beachbody has some sort of transformation. For me, it was physical, it's been internal, my life is completely different, and I am a completely different person. So I just want to thank all of you for inspiring me and being such a great audience. Bye, everyone.
Please welcome Superstar Diamond 2 coach, Danielle Matone.